Hi y'all. How y'all doing? Let me pause this. How you guys doing? Can y'all see me? Put a one in the chat if y'all can see me. Let's see here. Let's see. Anybody? Can somebody see me? I am saying something. Let's see. Oh. Can y'all see my mic? Mic on? Okay. I'm on, right? Let's see. Am I on? Nobody said nothing? What's wrong with my stream? I'm live. Okay. Can see. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start as soon as a few people get on here. I can see, I see one in the chat. If I can see, I can get up to 8 people. Oh, look at Mr. Uganda. You know what? Let me moderate you. Gotta be a moderator. Hi, Katarina Carlone. Katarina Carlone, how y'all doing? When I get a few people on the live, I will go ahead and I will start because I got some things that I want to share. So hopefully y'all can hear me. Okay, let's see here. Oh, it's not that bad. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see here. No, I'm gonna see something. I said hi, everyone. It's a live chat. Okay, so if I don't have more than 5 to 10 people, we're gonna end it live today on Friday. Because I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself. Let's see. Okay. Let's see something. I want to see if I can show something live. Let me see if I can do something. Oh, okay. Okay, great. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to get on here because I got something I want to share and make some announcements and stuff. Let's see. Let me see if I give 1 second. I'm gonna see if somebody. Look, I made you a mod, Mr. Uganda. I made you a mod. Let me see something. I hope y'all can see. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see if I can play something real quick. Nope. Nope. Gotta have my Joe text today. I had to play Joe Tex. That's my tribute. Had to play that. Okay. Yeah. And that's the song. That was Joe Tex, man. Okay, that was done. Um, so I guess I'm not gonna be on too long. Not enough people are on here, but this is what I do want to talk about. The first thing I want to mention is the Malcolm X Day is April 19th. And so those who have not signed the petition yet for the Malcolm X, please do so. Um, I think I have the link written in my description. And you know, you will want to fight for Malcolm X to have a Malcolm X Day. I think it's very, very important that we have our time and our day. And then we have, okay, great, great. You see the link, Mr. Uganda, great. And then we have the reminding of the parents. If you are trying to redirect your children as far as education, Ziyex Institute will be beautiful. Will be a perfect place to go to the Ziyex Institute. And that's also in the link. And you can meet with Q Butter and his Queen Marcia, his Empress. And they're wonderful with the children. I love the way they set up, you know, they're really teaching the kids economics. They're teaching them um, Black American history. They're teaching them about things that the children need to know, and it makes um, it's gonna make a big difference in your children's life and how they grow up and how they see things, and how powerful you will be a service to your children. You will leave tangibles for sure if your babies are attending the Ziyex Institute. There's also other schools. I don't know a lot of schools, but the ones that I know, I saw for myself. Check him out on YouTube. It's called Q Butter, and that's Quebutter. That's Q Butter. It's also a pretty dope rapper too. I mean, rap is dead to me, but they keep it alive with real music and things like that. That means something. Um, Also, if give a shout out to Miss Clarissa Knight with the Black is Truth. I love how she does her content. I love the way she approaches things and different perspective as well. As Make it fun to actually talk about things. So she's a good one, the Black is Truth, and she also has which is not posted on the link, but if you go to the Facebook, if you have a Facebook, look her up and sign up for the TBT gang, which is $25. I think it's $25 like a year, like a membership. And you could she has, it's all kind of things that she has going on. Everything she speaks of, I speak of. And it's so, everything she speaks of, I speak of. So that's going to be she's pretty dope too. Um, and then we have, my constant shout outs, Omega Courtney, shout out to African Millennial, shout out to Taz the Goat, Nyla Says, shout out to them. Um, Shout out to, I met one person I think is a wonderful person I've met. Hers is called, her name is, let me see, it's African, it's called African Superstar. She's good. I like her. I like her. And so those are the ones I'm gonna shout out today. Oh gosh, I shouted out one guy. Um, no, I did. I shout out Q Butter. Check him out too. Taz and Q Butter. Oh, the Great Black Shark. Great Black Shark is dope. If you want to know some hardcore dissecting history, it would not be Brother Mr. Seat Research. It will be Great Black Shark. You got to check him out. He's another one that's pretty dope. And he breaks things down the way it should be broken down, make you want to say, oh, okay. The stuff that we was arguing about on Africa Millennia's channel is you might as well throw those arguments away because Great Black Shark he posts things that make sense and people who are not from America, who are in the diaspora or who are in Africa or Al Capellan, when you go through the history of what he's taught and what he's teaching, you're going to see how, man, you're going to understand why Black people fight for reparations and why we're saying, why there's divide, why we're very divided, as a people. We're very divided as a people because, a lot of folks don't want to fight for what is right. A lot of people just want to go and, a lot of people just want to go and mingle and intermix and, date out your race and kill off your gene you know, and I want to tell you, I had to take that L when I learned that Black women carry the seeds. Women carry the seed, not the man. So the man, once you understand the man, you know, only he's only the fertilizer. That means you're nothing without the woman. But it's really trickery. It's a trick to it because the seed that the woman carried, it becomes if not fertilized, it becomes a menstrual cycle. So people have to understand they're called eggs. They're called eggs, but it's this small. It's this small. It's this small. That's why it makes sense that we do carry the seed. So yeah, I it took me a while to fight. I fought against it. I denied it and took some relatives to tell me, no, yeah, you you pretty much the seed carrier. This is how come you nurtured and you feed and you eat and you drink. The baby does everything you do. The baby feels what you feel. And the baby's going to be what you are. You, the mother, the creator. So that being said, let's get on to some money making things. Now, said that there's a program called the Co-op 50/50, and I was on Brother B Miles' channel. Shout out to Brother B Miles. He had met a sister through the Moors family. The people, the family who are Moors, right? And and he met her through them. They had a live stream, a Zoom actually, and it was about building wealth. And Shay Marie gets on here. Here's this angel. She gets on here and she starts explaining. She starts spitting knowledge. She starts spitting fire. And so she started showing us things and teaching us things. And I knew it was a lot of work that I have to do. Like it's like her teachings is like a book you got to read and you got to read it over again. Excuse me. So that's a good one. So Shay Marie is a good one. Shay Marie, that's the one, the 50/50, the co-op 50/50 and Quicksilver. I will be sponsoring two people. Miss Uganda will be one of them I'm going to sponsor. I'm looking for one more to sponsor, and that'd be a sister. I've sponsored for the next 4 or 5 weeks. I will be sponsoring a brother and a sister, one of each, because they on my team, right? And I'm gonna be sponsoring you $125. So since Mr. Uganda has already got here, I definitely am gonna shout you out. Thank you, Mr. Uganda. You've been very much of a supporter of mine from since we've met. on Mega Courtney's channel and our African Millennials channel. You've been very much of a supporter of mine. So I really appreciate that. Co-op 50/50, for those who don't know, it's basically like crowdfunding. And we know in history, crowdfunding was always well, let's take it back real quick. In the history, people were asked for loans. Especially our people, where they go into these banks and they ask for a loan, and the first thing I ask you is you got collateral. And if they have meet most of the basic standards, then they got this red tape where they have to talk to they have to get together and talk to their people and see whether they will approve our folks or not, whether they want to give this person a business loan to start a business where they stay, or, so they can take care of their families, for what craft they have. And they never ever give Black people loans, to start a business. And if they do, they got these very high interest rates, which is sad. They give us these high interest rates and things. So then they got this new thing called crowdfunding. And crowdfunding would be where you want to start a business, and um you go and you look at, Mm, you write a proposal. You write a proposal or some sort, right? And you do your sales pitch. And I'm not pretty good with sales pitch. I may say one thing that's hardcore, and they say, "Do it again," and I'll straight forget. For real, I'll forget real quick. So the sales pitch things like, man. So that's just one. But the crowdfunding, you don't have to go through all of that. Crowdfunding is basically you're making money year round, and could be for the rest of your life if you want. And oh, excuse me. Oh, maybe I am tired. Ugh. So this crowdfunding thing is basically you know, s- instead of people coming together and donating money like the Patreon, or what was that? There's another one besides Patreon, not Cash App, but those Patreon. Like, people would talk about, oh, I need help with my rent, or I need help keep my business open, and they come up with this thing where it's crowdfunding, and it's a lot of things that you put together. The money, as far as the money is concerned, people will support that, and put all this money. You will come up with all this money. You got to put in your profile, your ID. They ask a lot of questions. Again, it's a lot of red tape, but it's online, and you don't have to stand in front of a crowd. You can do it online, and then you see whether someone will, support you or not. I've done it before, when I wanted my daughter to go back to private school. I didn't, wasn't sure because I owed like $3,000, and I was like, oh, I need this money. I need to find a way to get her back in school. And at this time, I didn't know they had some other programs that will support my daughter's education, where she attended in San Francisco. And I went through Patreon and GoFundMe. That's what it was. It was GoFundMe. So I went to GoFundMe, and I requested if I can, earn $3,000 to get my daughter back in private school, because the summer is almost over. I have like 7 weeks left before school starts, and I would like to see if I can earn more than $3,000 to get my daughter back in private school. And I'm telling you, I started asking Oprah for money. I was asking Jay-Z for money. I was asking Beyonce, Rihanna. I was like, oh, come on, man, y'all. This is a little girl. Here's a picture of her. I sent it all over the place. I sent the picture of my baby girl, and it was like, this is my daughter, and I need her to go back into the third. I need her to go to third grade. She's in second. I was fighting for her to just stay in private school. And then one day, they just didn't respond. Like, they just wasn't able to respond. I don't know whether they thought they were too good, or we the little people, maybe that's what it is. And I figured, they will want to have some programs. Why do I not have a program that's going to support kids' education, especially if they want to go to private school, especially if I'm keeping her in private school, because the education is a little bit more intense as far as for the world. I'm preparing my child for the world. I don't, don't want my child being dumbed down in these public schools for which these schools are doing to our children. So, make a long story short, I did not, let me see, the process didn't go through to GoFundMe, and nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody cared to talk about it. I sent pictures and, inspiring story. I had even a wonderful lady named Tracy Faulkner write a beautiful letter in order for my daughter to get some form of funding to put her back in private school, because I didn't want my daughter not to go to private school, and I didn't want her going to um, any public schools at all. So, instead, I fought for it. I actually wrote a letter and a promissory note to get her back in the third grade. And I had got my financial aid for college and my student loan. And I paid like $2,500. They let her get right back in. If I had paid my 10%, they would get her back in, and they just roll over the tuition. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Forget that. I'll take a loan now for my daughter anytime for the private school, for her education. So I did that. But you don't have to go through that no more through co-op 50/50. Basically, if you're trying to put your children through private school or through college, maybe that co-op 50/50 be perfect for you after a year. So and it's like it's pretty dope. And once you email me, like Mr. Uganda did, then I will go ahead and forward your email for next week. We will be meeting through Zoom with Shay Marie. She will explain everything. She will teach you everything. I will be on Zoom right along with you guys. I will be paying 125 a piece. I will be sponsoring two of my people. And so that will be it for that. Now, there is one that I did not post, which I think is big time. I think you should do this. It's oh gosh, I think it's, yeah, BWO, Black World Order. My goodness, when I say that these brothers are ass kickers when it comes to building wealth. This is where we're at right now. We have to get our reparations. I don't care if you're from Africa. If you're here and you doing what you got to do here, you help get that money. You help, because we're going to build with one another. We will. We'll build with one another. And so look them up. And they got some classes. I think it's one class that's over 3 hours, and it's worth watching for 3 hours. It's actually worth watching for three. I think go to 25 minutes of it. So 25 minutes to the 3 hours is the time that's the best time to watch, because they was messing up on the music and all this stuff, and it took them a while. They had it on pause. So if you start from 25 minutes from the time they first come on and let it play um all the way until mm, 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 3 hours, until the whole thing's up. You'll see. If they start asking questions, then you can just, if you want to listen, stay and hear the questions, then it's fine. But you don't have to, wait for a lot of people to ask a whole bunch of questions. So that's cool. Now, that's being said, again, we're gonna get in contact with Cynthia. She's pretty good as far as owning land. Um, Omega Courtney have powerful people on her channel that talk about stuff like this do this now attitude. They have the resources, and we must take heed to that and go where we're going to go. And what I love about some of the folks, you don't have to live where they live. You can live in New York and still do what you do working with them. And I'm glad, because it was perfect for me to be here in Nevada, make things happen. My little throat decided to want to sticks up. Yeah, so that's done. That's it. So now let's have a conversation about a few things. I want to talk about the music industry, the family. Let's put together the music industry, the family, and the kids, right? The music, the adults, and the kids. And I think personally, today's music is garbage. And I think we need to go and start building up a history, musical history catalog, right? And the musical history catalog will be, give me 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay. So the music history catalog will be um you can go back into, yes, it really is garbage. I can't believe how people would call this stuff music, but I think it's propaganda. I really think it's propaganda, because how is it that you let these people who don't look like you, is people who don't look like you, tell you how to make music and who to sell it to? Well, yeah, the history catalog, they had some music, and I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the days, black people owned their own stuff, like they were their own craft. Oh yeah, they paid people who didn't look like them to borrow their studios, until Barry Gordy said, "Forget this, I'm finna do one for my people." Right? And he did one. He had a Motown called Motown, right? But before that, you had your Italians, you had the Jewish people, the Jewish community, the Italian community. They come together. They didn't come together, but they had their recording studios. And a lot of the recording studios, you have plenty of folks who get up there and pay for their time to make music. And I would love to go all the way back into, believe, what was it, 18, what was it, 1880s, 1890s, the 1880s, 1890s. That's where your blues was born. And you had your Sun House. You had your what's so many? It's so many of them. You had, but you had a lot of them. It's a lot of them I didn't know, but there was a couple of them. Who was it? There was a couple of folks. Like in the early 1900s, like 1915, 1917, you had Joe Blues, and the blues was speaking in codes. I love it. And I didn't know the blues was speaking in codes. But my favorite singers in the blues, y'all can write this down, because I'm going to start labeling some things. And I know it's just me and you on here, because it's just, it's Friday, Um, but maybe 4 o'clock was better for me. But my favorite blues singers was Son House, Hall Wolf, uh, Bo Diddley, because he was really a blues singer, not the one that stole his name. Bo Diddley. Let's see, what's her name? What is her name? Who sung the blues? Gosh, I forgot. I think it's Maggie Jones. Maggie Jones was one. Um, who else? Della Reese. Who else was my favorite? Muddy Waters. ZZ Hill. Oh man, see y'all, you don't know nothing about that, Mr. Uganda. You gotta listen to some of those songs that's on there. It kicks butt. I'm telling you, it's off the hook, it's off chain. Um, But that's will be good history for the blues. And you teach them that they spoke in codes because during the times, those are the times of the plantation and slavery and people being lynched and all those things. And I encourage people to watch those documentaries. Watch the documentary about um about these things. Why did this stuff exist? Because the music tells the story. See, the music tells the story, and that tells you how we have failed our children. Because today, we ain't taught these kids nothing. To be honest with you, we threw them in school and let the evildoers uh, teach these kids nothing, really. Right? This is how come we have issues with our kids. This is how come we have issues with with the adults today, because it was a job done on them. They didn't learn nothing as they got older. And they call themselves mad at you when you know that some of us made it through education, some of us had to be self-taught, and some didn't. So yeah, if you can listen to some of the music, you're gonna be taught a lot, right? And look at some of their documentaries. So the blues was one, and then you had your swing dance. People today can't even dance. But if you look back in the 40s, the 30s, even the 20s, oh my gosh, they was crazy on the 20s. They had the swing dance, they had all these things in the 1920s, and the Smith brothers, and it was a called, well, they the Smith brothers, or I think it was the Smith brothers. And you had your Dorothy Dandridge, you had your, I mean, they danced they buzz off, you know, and so many things were occurring during those times as well. You had, slow songs. I think people should start listening to slow songs again. There's nothing wrong with listening to slow songs. Slow songs help. Um, yeah, I thank you. Yeah, slow songs used to be something where you were calmed down, you listened, they were talking to you, and you feel every bit of what was sung about. You felt it all. Or you got your lady with you and you play some love songs, they slow songs, y'all both can dance together. I'm talking about slow songs. And let your children see that and laugh. I think it's so cute. Let them see that and laugh. I used to watch my grandmother and grandfather, my step grandfather actually, dance together. Um, they used to put on, oh, what's his name? Bobby Blue Bland. They put in this one song Bobby Blue Bland used to sing, and it's called I Pity the Fool. The name, it was blue, it's the blues, but it's called I Pity the Fool. And grandmama and grandpapa, that was their song, one of their songs, favorite songs. And they used to get there and start dancing and dancing all stiff together. I thought that was so cute. I would laugh about it because I thought it was, amazing that, there's still fire and love there, even though he had to go home, far, far away. And, she remained in San Francisco. She wasn't going to go back to Mississippi. She made sure she wasn't going back to Mississippi. But it was beautiful. I used to like how my grandmother was incorporating herself into, back in the 90s, today's music. It was a song, a rap song called Higher, and I'm trying to think who did that song called Higher. But my grandmother loved that song. She loved the beat, had a little singing to it. Even though they was rapping, they was doing a little singing to it. You had the ladies yelling, I want to go higher. She loved that song. She used to dance her butt off to that song and put her hands on her hips and swing it this way and swing it that way. And sometimes she'd grab her little drink. She had a little car bell, and she would sit there and hold that drink up and swing this way and swing that way. So yeah, that was grandmama. I miss grandmama. So yeah, that's those types of songs would be wonderful, to hear, because you would get a whole different perspective. And then you was like, So you listen to the songs back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, even up to the 70s. The 70s, I think that's where people this is where the mid 60s, early 70s, I think this is where the government starts saying, too many black people coming together. We gotta break them apart because it was too much black powerness going on with the songs. A lot of these songs was becoming a black power movement, back and forth. Give power to the people that was sliding the family stones. Yeah, I mean, we talking about um, the Isley Brothers even did songs. One called "Fight the Power." The OJ's did. Um, the OJ's also did some stuff dealing with Black Power, or family reunion when Black folks would get together and eat together and do these types of things. I thought that was wonderful. Let me see what else. Mm, what else was a good one? The Temptations. Um, Nothing can stop me now. Stop the war now. The Temptations into their, conscious movement because they went through the what was it? They went the conscious movement. I think it was the conscious movement they went through, and then after the conscious movement, they went through the drug movement. It's a lot of things. You tell people are falling. A lot of the songs you can tell by a lot of music, people started falling. Once you start hearing the genres and how it starts changing, because in the '80s they started crossing over in the '80s with the Cyndi Laupers and the Madonnas of the world, and it messed everything up. I don't care what nobody say, it messed everything up. Tina Marie got away with it because she was a Portuguese white woman who sounded black and loved her a black man, and that was just good enough. Listen to Tina Marie, you could tell. Listen to her, you think she a black woman. When you look at her, mm-mm, nope, she a white woman with she was Portuguese, basically. I think she's from Brazil. I believe she was Brazil, and she grew up and she had a love for black. She had a love for blackness, but she's the last of the last. She didn't. Everyone else don't have a love for blackness like that. It's just I ain't gotta like you. I ain't gotta kiss your butt. I'm just gonna take your. I'm just gonna be this person because this what you was. Nobody gives homage to what black people have built in this country, and that's including rap music you know. That's including rap music, and you got black folks who's buck dancing and killing off their whole culture by incorporating everyone else and praising everybody else, which I think is so sad and disrespectful. But that's it for that. But I want to give a big tribute to Joe Tex. Joe Tex. If and I know you have not heard of Joe Tex, but Joe Tex was the one that was the marriage counselor. He was the relationship counselor. Um, how you doing, JM family? Yeah, Joe Tex was the um, marriage counselor of the music. He talked about what you better do, and I loved it. Um, I just think people should listen to his whole album. He has more than one album, and I think when he was doing all the songs before he became with the nation, before he joined the Nation of Islam. But he was very, very. Uh, I mean, he made me laugh. He was a jokester too on a lot of his songs. Very much of a jokester. Um, One is called "A Tramp." Y'all should listen to that song at Mr. Uganda. As you heard some of the songs from Tramp. What else? He did one called Bump No More with No Big Fat Woman. That song is bumping. And see, back in the days, uh, bump no more with that big fat woman. Listen, the world wasn't even sensitive like that. As a matter of fact, it made black women go to the clubs and they want to play that song, especially the plump sisters. Like, play that song, play that song. I'm gonna find me a skinny man to dance with on this one. So, they didn't take it as an insult. No one protested just because he said, I'm not gonna bump no more with that big fat woman. As a matter of fact, that song hit number one because the sisters bought it, right? So it's a wonderful that song back in the days. You're gonna see how powerful and how strong we were, and how we was not incorporated into the sensitivity culture that we got here in the United States of America, right? Everyone is sensitive. You just can't say certain things because they cry like little wenches and little bitches, and they're crying and they want to sue and they want to go tell. It's like they have not grown up. They decide they want to stay little kids. But back in the days, honey, they was grown folks. And when that song came out, that song was on hit. And then there was another song called Pneumonia. If you listen to that song, understand this man sound like he was miserable. And the woman made him miserable. The woman made him miserable. And that's why he said, you gave me pneumonia. I think that's a funny song too. Also, let me see what else that Joe Tex had played, which I thought was a good one. Give It Here. Give It Here was a good song. Give me 1 second. So there was a song called Give It Here. Now that was popular. It was so popular that they had to put it on Soul Train. And if you don't know what Soul Train is, watch all of Soul Train from 1972. Was it 1971? 1972. You can look it up on YouTube, Soul Train. 1972 all the way to 1997. You know what I'm saying? Before he got real sick, right? Yeah, look at all of that. I think Soul Train kicked butt, because I like Don Cornelius. He was just making things happen. He the one put a lot of black folks on, Barry White to the world and stuff. But yeah, Joe Tex was my favorite. He became one of my favorite. Oh, and another one called Crazy Chicken or Chicken Crazy. You gotta listen to that. Chicken Crazy, Skinny Woman. No, Skinny Legs. Look up Skinny Legs and listen to it. Skinny Legs was funny because he he didn't want no skinny leg woman, and then the woman, she didn't want no bum looking man. So yeah, those are Joe Tex of the year. I'm gonna give my homage to Joe Tex. Look at some of his he had a documentary, and I think supposedly he died mysteriously, and and one of his wives were talking, and so there's a documentary. I mean, I need to look that up myself to see what's going on with that one, because makes me want to understand more about the people in there. Otis Redding, oh my gosh. Look up Otis Redding, listen to a lot of his songs, play that, but let your kids hear these songs. Cab Calloway was about putting holes in the streets. I'm sorry, but he did it so smoothly you would never know that he was talking about putting holes in the streets, and Miss Minnie was the hoe. And he was doing high Tanja dreams. So yeah, man, understand. Cab Calloway, he was the little light skinned pimp. So yeah, but let your kids hear these type of songs back in those days, because those songs is going to teach them a lot about why we lost so much in the future. I mean, now, I think you should play those songs. Um, but Joe Tex did a lot of slow songs that made you say, I love my man loved me, we gonna dance. And there's nothing wrong, again, with slow dancing. There's nothing wrong with listening to slow records. I think we should start doing that. I think we should start bringing that back. Who else? Man, man. Gosh, what's his name? Who else? The jazz back then had a lot of information in it as well. Yes, I was just saying that they were dropping, that they taught you some things. They were speaking in codes, and they was dropping a lot of jewels. You're right, Tanja. They was dropping a lot of jewels, and that's what made it. That's what made me get more deep into listening to songs in the past. My son right now, he's listening to the Smith Brothers. He's listening to oh my gosh, it was a song by a group. It was a group. Now, see, Missy Uganda, back in the days, there was group singers, and the group singers, Billie Holiday. She wasn't no joke. Did you see? Watch her documentary. See, the movie made it seem like the black man got her on drugs, but in the documentary, her first man was a Jewish man, was an Italian, and he got her on drugs, not the black man. Watch her real documentary. It's a picture of her when she was a baby, and when she was about 11 years old, she was snatched, kidnapped, raped, and they put her in an orphanage, but they shamed her for getting raped. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, what the tap dancers? There was one guy. People thought Michael Jackson was the one who started the moonwalk. And when you see moonwalk, everybody swear up and down it's Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson got it from this one guy. Which one? I'm gonna look it up real quick. I'm telling you, I'm not going. I'm not gonna go out like that. I ain't gonna be calling out something and then I can't tell y'all who it is. Hold on one second. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna write that now. Right now. Who was the first moon walker? Let's see. The first moonwalker was. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I was just Tonda. I was just talking about Bill Bailey. Okay, so Bill Bailey was the first moonwalker. Well, Betty Boop was not a black woman. A lot of people keep saying Betty Boop. What happened was this white woman is the Betty Boop, but the voice was a black woman. And they would never have, they didn't want her face on there. They didn't want her face on there. She had the voice. The black woman had the voice. The white woman had the looks, but the black woman had the looks too. I don't care what no one says. And they sat there and they took her voice and her voice only, and they were doing that back in the 20s. Okay, they anything to do like the Five Heartbeats. If you've seen the movie The Five Heartbeats, the movie showed that they were going inside of most they were doing to most places. They went inside the studio and they did all this song. Oh, we like it, we like it, we like it, but uh can we not use your face on the cover? Can we put our guys on the cover to make it look like the white guys sung black people's music? Oh, if you put their face on there, then everyone can buy the songs. Both black and white. We'll bring them both together, bridge the gap. And people looking like, ain't that about a B? You won't even put my face on there because you're afraid that white folks won't buy our music. But who's these white guys? And they was ready to take their music. And they were doing that to voiceovers, there was a lot of voiceovers that I learned. I learned this 2 years ago. I learned Betty Boop 2 years ago. The only thing black about Betty Boop was the voice, and the sex appeal was a white woman. So yeah, that's false perception that Betty Boop is a black woman. She's not. But the voice, they wouldn't even tell us who the woman was. Yeah, there was a lot of female. They did that to a lot of female actors. Yes, a lot of beautiful black women were being put to the curve. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't look like your mama got raped by a white man and gave birth to a light skinned you, to a mixture of you, because I hate when people want to. I hate when people turn that around and make it where, well, people were mixing back then. No, they were being raped. Even the white women were raping the black men. Even the white women were raping the black slaves. Okay, they were doing that during those times. That's why the blues was necessary, and they spoke in codes. I went to the African Diaspora Museum in San Francisco, and there was a story. They went again. They didn't show their faces, and it's supposed to be a black museum, but they didn't show their face, and it was about this old timer. I call him an old timer because he was in his 90s and he's talking, and he says he will never forget that his older brother, who was his older brother, lost his life over a white woman he never slept with. And the way this worked was the white woman can purposely tell her husband and a whole mob of white folks that the N-word has escaped. And they go where? And they go get their hounds. They sit there and look for them. They hungry for some blood. They want to lynch and all the stuff. So while she sends him off, she acts like now I'm in charge. She calls one of the slaves to see which one is the most strongest ox in that field, and she brings him inside her home, and she just do stuff like, and the guy was telling, says, you know, the guy will sit there and say, you know, she ends up pregnant, the baby comes out a little bit of colored more than being white. Then she'll yell, I was raped. I was raped. And when they do that, they say, who did it? The Johnson's boys. The Johnson's boys did it. Because either she liked that slave, or she'll sit there and say one of our boys did it, and here he go right there. I was scared. Why didn't you tell me? I was so scared. I didn't want you to do nothing to me. And see, then all of a sudden they protect this woman, right? And the black man gotta die for this. He gotta hang for this. And so it just, the only thing I'm upset about is why would you go back to the plantation after all these years? It's not the fact it's a long time ago. It's not a long time ago. You should have just looked at that like, nah, y'all poison people. Y'all poisonous. Anytime we touch y'all, bad things happen to us. Nope. So yeah, they did all kind of stuff. But this guy said that his oldest brother, who was protecting him at the time, he was 4. His brother was 11. Okay. His mother had 8 kids. And then when it gotten bad, they had to sell a few of those kids. And so the oldest brother went with the 4-year-old. And the mama, he said he never saw his mama again because she said she was going to come and get them. But yet they took her, they sold her. This reminds me of the draft from the football, right? Well, anyway, he says that he watched his brother get accused at 11 years old, at the age of 11, of raping a white woman across on the other side of the plantation, because there was like this plantation, but they were related. These white folks, they were related. They had their own stuff. But anyway, he watched his brother get hung, and they burnt him. And he says the first thing he did was he was 4. He says they questioned him as to, did you do this to Mr. So-and-so's wife, with Mr. Coleman's wife? He said, no, sir, I didn't. and they whipped him until they broke his spirit, where he finally said, yes, I did. Stitch her baby. He said, nope. They whipped him until he said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't know. Yes, sir. And then they did what they did. They was gonna kill him anyway. And see, we not teaching our kids stuff like this, so they know you don't have to have these excuses. Well, my child, I raised my baby the best I could, and I can't control what who my son likes. You know, that's a long time ago. He like white girls, you know what I'm saying? He bring white girls home, and you all being all proud of it, but you don't know what she got in store for your son when something goes wrong. So no, I think we should be teaching our sons and teach our daughters to stick with your own, because y'all the best y'all got. So I want to cry. My daughter was 7 years old when we went to the African Museum in San Francisco downtown, called the Moab. Yep, that's what it was called, the Moab, the African Moab. And we went down there and we've seen a lot of things. They showed John Brown and what John Brown did. You had a few of those kind of folks, but but this is how come the songs are so important. Let's see. And he be disseminating about our own when dating too. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, they not understanding that there's an agenda against them. We losing our brothers as it is, but you finna go commit suicide by going to the plantation. Come on, man. Come on. It doesn't work. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? I listen, I didn't know I was going to the I didn't know I was going I don't I would not go to the plantation. I wouldn't. And that's what I don't deal with plantation people. So, unless they have something to do with business, and it must be done because everybody got to deal with the plantation in that form, sense of form. As far as dating a plantation, procreating with the plantation, I'm not doing it. It's not fair that we have to sit here and like those. But the music tells a lot. And I just think, like, I listen to a lot of Jamaican music. I think Jamaicas, I think and different parts of Africa, I think they should start listening to some Black American music starting back in the 1920s. I think they should start listening to all of those songs, because you could see, and you know how Black people slowly was picking themselves up from these slow songs, like the blues and the slow the yeah, it's jazz, it's blues, jazz blues. It used to be called something else. It was the it one of those things where they would sing all this heartache song, and it wasn't always about the man breaking up with the woman or the woman breaking up with the man. Sometimes it was about the condition of our lives, and it's so deep. And Billie Holiday was singing about that. She wasn't the only one. My daughter is related to oh my god, she's the great cousin of Lena Horne. Lena Horne was another one. Lena Horne was another one. She broke it down. Eartha Kitt, and some of the sisters who married and dated out of their race, they did it for business reasons. They did it for money. They did it to how should I say it? Security. They did it for security. They didn't do it because they want to parade around because they didn't like black men. Because deep down inside, they wanted a black man. They did. Eartha Kitt wanted Nat King Cole, but Nat King Cole got him a Spaniard, and he wasn't gonna leave his Spaniard woman for her. And and so she wanted him. So it's not like she wasn't never interested in, what I'm saying. There was another black woman who was an actor. I'm not sure, forgot her name, but she wanted Sidney Poitier. Oh, she was in love with Sidney Poitier. She wanted to date him. He was already, again, dating not their race, and he wasn't gonna leave her for this beautiful sister. And so that was something. Um, so, oh yeah. So it's a trip, Watch these documentaries. The documentaries is where it's at. especially when you guys take a stroll down memory lane and listen to some jazz and some blues. Son House, he was raised in a Christian church. His father was a pastor. Guess what? That man was a white man. And his mother was black and Native American. So he was mixed with all three, but he loved his mama. He hated his daddy. He loved his mama. And he gonna side with his mama. And we have to understand, now we have to understand where this is why you carry the seed, sisters. You don't you you don't the egg is the seed. You are the seed carrier, not the men. Because the seed carrier means everything that grows inside of you becomes you. The guys, only thing they're good for, no disrespect, is to fertilize our seed. That's all it is. And I had to. It took me a while to get over it because it was bothering me the whole time. Like, how we carry the seed? The man carry the seed. We carry the seed. And nope, my auntie, she calls it liquid potion. All they got is the liquid potion, honey. And without that potion, you ain't gonna have nothing but a Mr. Cycle. And without that seed, for him to fertilize that seed, he ain't gonna do nothing but waste that. That thing ain't finna do ain't nothing but a piece of mess. That's all it is. He gonna have to wipe that out and go and take it. It was just her. That was her. I just loved how she would talk about certain things. So uh, yeah, our womb is very, very important. Our womb is very important. And I'm telling you something so important. Listen, you know, when you speaking of the blues and coming up to the swing dance eras, black women never went to the hospitals. They knew how the doctors treated them. So a lot of black women never went to the hospitals. Black women were their own nurses. They knew how to take care of their own bodies. They knew how to keep it clean. They knew how to take care of whatever was going on with their womb. They knew how to take care of everything with that vajayjay. They knew it. They knew it. And they would teach the kids. They taught the daughters. That's why the mother's supposed to take the daughters when you wash your child's underwear, your daughter's underwear, and you see there's a different coloration or in a little child's underwear before you put it in the wash machine. That's when you decide you need to talk to your daughter, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do. Girl, we scared to talk to our girls. Our daughters, they be acting like we invading their privacy and everything. It's like, no, wait a minute now. Because we're not that strong anymore. But our great grandmothers, oh no, you ain't gonna tell them nothing. You finna get punched in the face. Messing with grandma, Amy, all them. You're not finna disrespect them. You're gonna get punched in the face. So yes, in the men and the guys, when the boys start feeling kind of funny, that's when the guys, the fathers, at the time, the uncles, the grandfathers, they come in and let me see what you look like, boy. Let's go in that bathroom to see what's going on here. And they start talking. You go in that room and have that talk with that boy and tell him, you like girls yet? And it'd be so fun, just to hear that they do that, back in the days when you was protecting your family more. You was more protective of your family because you didn't trust anything outside of you. You just didn't. Now everybody's just so trustworthy. And I include myself, I must admit I'm guilty to it too. But yeah. This real quick, let's head off to the, I'm gonna stay on here 15 more minutes. Let's talk about the movies. Now, Mr. Uganda, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here, Mr. Uganda. Give me a one if you're still here, because I'm gonna throw some movies at you. Because African Millennial was talking about certain movies, and she was talking about Tyler Perry and stuff, and how it's all how is it like it's all what is it? What it's called? I'm trying to think. What's this? Let me see. It's like a. I mean, she was with Tyler Perry Coming to America and stuff. It's like, boy, y'all ain't heard. Everybody want to. Yep. Okay. So listen. Now, you heard about the Eddie Murphy movies, right? And everybody want to talk about Coming to America 1 and 2. But I'm gonna throw both of them away. Now, Coming to America 1 was funny to me. I liked it because it was funny. But Harlem Nights kick ass. If you watch Harlem Nights, we got our victory. We got our victory. You have to look at Harlem Nights because Harlem Nights would tell you, okay, there's your free slave. Okay. And then there's your Harlem Nights is like, it's like there's your powers that be children, and their job is to make sure you don't go above them as far as economics. You got to look at Harlem Nights. It's the best, to me, the best movie ever. Okay. Then there is Blazing Saddle. Watch Harlem Nights. You're going to love it. We get the victory in that movie. We get the victory in that movie. I watched that. I'm going to tell you something. That movie never plays out. I used to go and visit my grandmama house and stuff, or I go visit some relatives, and every time I turn around, they got Harlem Nights on. And if they don't got Harlem Nights on, they have Sparkle. Now, Sparkle, there's two Sparkles. You want to watch the old Sparkle. Don't watch that new one. That new one is garbage. The old Sparkle talk about how this is, we're oppressed. We live in a ghetto, and at that time there was no projects where they, there was no projects where they lived, but they lived in this what do you call it? It was like this Victorian building, right? And instead of that whole building being a Victorian home that's yours, they had little apartments, like the Victorian building. You go inside the Victorian buildings, and then you go up the stairs. There's someone's house there. There's someone's apartment there. There's someone's apartment there. That's how that worked, right? And it's like 4 people lived in this Victorian apartment, right? And it's about this mom, right? She's a hard worker, and she had 3 daughters. And one daughter, she's very fair skinned. Okay, very fair skinned. And she, they were just kids. They were all kids, but that fair skinned one, she was the hot one. Remember, I said on African Millennials channel that Black men in San Francisco, California, in the Bay Area, they never liked light-skinned girls back in the 80s and 90s because they told them, because they believed that they were easy. They were very nasty, very sexual. They do anything. They're easy. She might have slept with anybody. I don't want no light-skinned chick. She sleep with anybody. She fast, she hot, she this, she that. Well, and then dark-skinned girls, that's what they want, because they knew that was hard to get. They wanted girls that they was hard to get. And the brothers would tell the mothers, the fathers, the uncles, the grandfathers would tell that very Black sister, keep your eyes on those books and off them boys. And that's all you had to hear. And mom, like, you heard what he said now. So make a long story short. So there's the brighter skin, the fair skin sister, her name was Sister. And she wanted that fast life. And I saw I'm gonna tell you about that. The mother was trying to talk to all her daughters, and everything just fell short because she wasn't there enough for her daughters. And the reason why she wasn't there enough for her daughters, and yes, she did have a friend who was supposed to keep watch of her daughters, but she wasn't doing nothing but being nosy. The mother would drive 2 hours to go to work on the bus, to go work for somebody white. She was the servant. She couldn't say nothing. She didn't care about, she had to clean their house. She had to wash their clothes. She had to cook their foods. She had to serve their breakfast. She had to be on time over there. Okay? And then when she come back, it's almost late at night, and the only thing she could do with her daughters is, did you do your homework? Well, let me see your homework. Okay, you done with your homework? Okay, I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna cook this food, and then I'm gonna go lay down because I gotta get up in the morning for work. That's all she had for her daughters. That's all she had for her daughters. And then you watch that movie, and you gonna see what's going on, because the new Sparkle, Whitney Houston played in it, rest in peace, but it was garbage, because there's no way that I'm gonna believe in the early 60s you were a single woman who made all this money. You got this nice house, and you got these daughters going to private school, and you just so perfect, and you trying to tell your daughters don't be having no babies and belly fat and coming back here because I ain't taking care of them. No, it wasn't like that. If you look at Sparkle, the first one, it was more so like real freaking life. Okay, you have black folks working for white folks. They was scraping to get by. And what did the teenagers do? See, our teenagers ain't nothing like these teenagers. These teenagers back in the day, since they was teenagers, the teenagers back then says, man, I'm gonna find a way to get up out of this. And what you gonna do? I'm gonna sing. Want to form a group? Let's form a group. Let's practice outside. That's what they did. They formed a group in the 50s. They stood together and they practiced outside. And if they sound good, they will sit there and get their little milk money, save that milk money. They're starved. They wait till they come home and eat. And they take everybody, put their money together and go to that studio and record a song. And hopefully that one song will be a hit and somebody would discover them and play their radio. And that's it. My mama moving out this ghetto. You know, that's how it was. That's how it was. And that's how the girls, you know, that's how the boys that was with the girls, that's how they felt like we, you know, if we can just get up out of this situation, we can, you know, we can live better, we can live happily, and people are gonna love you, and you'll see it. You'll see. Just watch Sparkle, the first Sparkle. You'll see it's tragedy and everything, but it's big time. It's basically hardcore, real, the truth. Because you don't want to watch the second Sparkle. There's too many Hollywood people in it. Too many celebrities in this one. This one here, low budget, non-Hollywood, very good, low budget film. The next film is Miss Claudine, a 1974 film. Now, remember, you heard a lot of brothers yelling child support. Yeah, y'all let the government take care of you. The government is y'all daddy. It's just them being guilty, throwing fingers at the sisters. You know what I'm saying? What you watch Miss Claudine, you're gonna see the system was after both the men and the woman. See, they want to make sure black men and black women didn't be together. That's all I want to tell you about that. And you have some lonely, miserable people who look like us, who just learned that this woman is on welfare and she's living off of a $25 rent apartment or rent house or whatever, rent apartment area, you know. She got a 3-bedroom, but 7 kids. And her rent is $25 because she got all these kids and she don't have no husband. The baby daddy left her. No, the baby daddy didn't left her. They put a lot of work on the man. They wouldn't let her work. She had to show proof that she's not working, because if they find out she's working, or if the man's boss finds out he's working so he could take care of his wife and children, they will sit there and fire that man. So he had to leave this black woman with these kids, right? And then she went and she had 4 or 5 other men that she was with. And all she wanted to do was have a family, but they were struggling. And every time the system finds out that he got a woman that he's going to marry, they're going to cut his salary or they're going to fire him. And they had to choose: take care of yourself and we'll keep paying you, or go ahead and find a way to take care of the black families, because I'm going to fire you. You're going to find a job. No one's going to hire you. No one else is going to hire you. That's what they did to the brothers. Okay. So this is why she ended up with all these kids by a couple of different men, right? But this last guy that came up here, you learned, which was James Earl Jones, you learned that he was in the same predicament. He was in the same predicament. Okay. He was forced to leave his wife and kids. He says, well, F that, you know, she had to take the welfare because how they was going to feed the kids. That's how they planned it. So watch Miss Claudine. That's a good one. And you'll see that she wasn't running for the welfare. You're going to see them people was evil in America. They wasn't running for the welfare. The welfare was like a last resort. And they had to go to them because they needed this check, you know, and it's $25 per child, right? So you may get $225 And that's enough to buy some food and pay rent. But you can't have no TV in your house. You can't have no nice new furniture in your house. You can't have nothing that look like it's new. Because the social worker will stop by at your house and they will check. And if they find out you got a man in the house, you're going to get cut off of welfare. Ain't that something? So, yeah, look at Miss Claudine. And the last but not least, before I let you go, look at, did I say Blazing Saddle? Blazing Saddle. That's the last I'm going to tell y'all about that movie. Blazing Saddle will have your ass laughing. You got a black man making a fool out of white folks who was part of the white supremacy. You're going to have to watch that movie and laugh at it all day. And that's your history right there. And that's it for now. And I thank y'all very much. For those who didn't get a chance to watch my introduction about how to make money and build wealth in the beginning, just rewind it back. I appreciate y'all. My time is up, and much blessings to both of y'all. Peace. Now, how we do this? What's this? Look at them laughing. Y'all see? I know. Let's see. End the stream.